So in this video, we're going to go over my Red Epic Dragon build and see what parts I've sourced online and what my experience has been like since this camera is over 10 years old. So for those of you looking to upgrade to a cinema camera, you might want to consider the Red Epic Dragon. A lot of these cameras are going for sale online for within the $2,000 to $4,000 range. Now for me, I've been a fan of Red ever since they debuted almost 10 years ago. However, I could not afford to ever own one, but I would always rent them on certain shoots that I had. Now, fast forward to today, I am now a Red owner as of 6 months ago, and I am super stoked. This camera still competes with some of the best cameras out today, being the fact that when this camera came out, this sensor was top of the line then and is still close to top of the line now, being the fact that it's almost full frame, it's 6K resolution, and the dynamic range is over 16 and a half stops. So let's go ahead and dive in. So let's dive into my Red Epic Dragon build, and I want to just go over all the different components that I really took time to collect and scavenge for on Facebook, eBay, OfferUp, and different other online marketplaces to build this camera. When I first bought this camera, the kit that I bought didn't really include all the accessories that I either wanted or that fit my needs as a filmmaker. So naturally, I used the kit for what it was, but slowly and surely over time, I kind of scoured the web and found different pieces and parts that really fit my needs and my aesthetic as a filmmaker to truly craft the best near perfect camera rig as possible. And while this rig is still not perfect, it is very close to what I want, and is very close to fitting my needs. So with that being said, let's go ahead, let's dive in and build this thing. So here we have the brain, the main body of the camera. Obviously, it is the Red Epic Dragon brain. I went ahead and added a small rig top handle that I really love. This camera is pretty heavy, and so it's very convenient having something to be able to just grab this camera with. It is a very beefy and bulky camera. This thing's a tank, and so having that top handle is super necessary, especially with all these different quarter 20 mounting points for you to be able to add monitors, lights, and other different accessories to this on the fly. So first, let's go ahead and build this. What I want to talk about here is I have the mini mag side SSD module. This came with my Dragon build or my kit, so I was super excited about that, knowing that the older SSDs, the 1.8s, definitely are a bit older, and it's much harder to find the 1.8 mini mag or mag media for that. So I'm really happy that I do have these mini mags to go with it. My kit came with a 120 gigabyte, and I quickly learned on my first shoot that that wasn't nearly enough. So I went ahead and added a 480 gigabyte mini mag as well, about a few weeks into buying this kit. So this kit originally came with a PL mount, which is, you can tell by this, this is super beefy. This is all steel, and it is just a beast. It's huge. It's a tank. It has the locking mechanism to lock your PL lenses. And this was super cool to have. And to be honest, I actually don't really use a lot of PL lenses, so I really haven't used this much, if anything at all. But I did want to keep it versus sell it online for, to buy other gear. I wanted to keep it because, you never know, you may use a PL lens, or I may rent something in the future for a bigger project. But I am a long-term fanboy of Red. And so with this being my first Red camera into the ecosystem, first and probably last, to be honest. But first, I definitely love just, you know, I love having my kit that I'm going to use maybe, for my passion projects. But I also like acquiring certain things that are proprietary to Red, because it's just, this is more than a camera for me. This is a piece of history. And it's also just nostalgic. And so I don't mind collecting certain things for this camera that I may not really use. So that is something that I did want to keep. But I went ahead about a few months in, I got super lucky and I was able to snag an EF mount, the red self-proprietary EF mount for this camera, which was very needed because for the first few shoots, I had more EF lenses available to me, and it was just really difficult trying to find ways to use them with when I had a PL mount. So I would have to rent this EF mount on ShareGrid a lot, and that got old really fast. And so I eventually got lucky and scoured the web, and I found a really, really good deal on. I want to say it was OfferUp, and it was like a super great deal compared to what I was seeing online. And so I snagged it right away, and now I have it on my camera. So that's pretty cool. And then one other thing that I wanted to talk about is, at least for right now, is my kit originally did not come with the proprietary red V-mount adapter module. That is something that I had to scour the web and find. When I first bought my kit, it came with a gold mount battery module that wasn't even proprietary to red. It was just like a third-party attachment, and while that was cool, I don't really use gold mount batteries at all. I mostly have V mounts, and so for me that was kind of useless. So I just kind of took it off, and for a quick fix, I went ahead and bought a third party V mount adapter because I couldn't even find the red V mount module for this at the time anywhere online on eBay, Facebook Marketplace, OfferUp. I couldn't find any used red V mounts, and so to be honest, this red out of this whole kit, and my 6 months of scouring the web, this red V mount is honestly the most rare item that I've added to my kit. And there's a few other things I want to talk about that were also rare too, but this red by how many that I saw online, this red V mount was by far the most rare. And so one day it popped up on Facebook Marketplace, and it was an hour and a half drive away at night. And I messaged the guy, I snagged it ASAP, I drove, and I was so happy to finally get this, and it works perfectly. Again, because sort of a fanboy of Red. I want to try and keep this camera as like stock as possible with as little third-party accessories as possible within reasons, obviously. But having that Red V mount was just really cool to have. Along with, the proprietary red EF mount. I could have gone with a third party, but I chose not to. I really want to hold out for that red proprietary EF mount. And so with that, I'm just super glad that I was able to kind of piece this together. But let's get building this. So first, we're gonna need a lens for this guy. So let's go ahead and I have two lenses here. I have two lenses here. I have the DZO film 40 mil, and I also have the dual lens 85 mil. When I first bought this camera, to be honest, I had no EF lenses, but I did have friends and family that did own EF lenses, so I was able to borrow them. But I really wanted to get my hands on some cinema glass, knowing that this is a cinema camera. I wanted to give it the best quality lenses that I could afford. And so, for a minute, I bought a Canon 24 to 70, and that got old really quick. And I eventually sold that and found an amazing deal on both these lenses. The DCO film I got for nearly half price of what I was seeing sell used online. So I bought this lens used for half price of what I was already seeing other used lenses online for it. And the quality that it's in is pretty amazing. So I got very lucky with this. So we're going to go ahead and put that on. And I had a very similar situation as well with the DZO film 85 mil. I got super lucky with being able to snag that refurbished online, and it was marketed as in, good condition, but with some wear and tear. There's not a single scratch on that lens. So that was honestly a steal. I got very, very lucky with that. So that was pretty cool. But right now I'm searching for a wide lens option. And to be honest, without really doing a whole lot of in-depth testing so far, just a lot of informal testing, the DZO film actually matches really well with the dual lens. So this I was actually very surprised by. The dual lens is advertised with having a vintage coating to it, which to be honest, I've kind of seen and kind of not seen. Again, I've only done informal tests so far, but from what I've seen, comparing the DZO 40 mil Vespid to the dual lens 85 mil, they do match really well. So that's pretty exciting. I eventually want to get an all dual lens set, but with, just from kind of buying stuff online at a great price, I'm not in a super rush. And so because of that, I'm super happy that the dual lens does match the Vespid really well. And I will be doing more formal tests on that to post for you guys too. Up next, I want to go ahead and actually put a battery on this. So here I have, this is a third party Power Extra V-mount battery that I went ahead and snagged on Amazon. I was a bit leery about this battery because it was only 98 bucks. But compared to, what I was seeing else online from like Small Rig, even newer, this was just when you compare watt hours to price, this was the best bang for your buck. For 98 bucks, you get 222 watt hours of power. So this thing will last you a good at least 4 to 5 hours of shooting, which is pretty cool. So for this camera, I already had the Atomos Ninja 5. This is already my kit from, just using it with my Sony a7 IV. And I really, really, really love this monitor. If you're shooting in broad daylight, this monitor is very, very, very bright. And I went ahead and got this really cool Nicey, no, I'm sorry, Andy Cine cage for it, just for extra layer of protection. So I really love that. It's got various quarter 20 mounts all around, so you can easily mount any kind of attachments. And this monitor cage did come with a sun hood for it, which is pretty cool. But I love, love, love using the Atomos Ninja 5 with the Red Dragon. I think it's the perfect combo. I've thought about adding, the actual Red DSMC monitor to this build, just for the added touch functionality of that to be able to control the camera from the monitor. But from what I've read online, for the cost of what the Red DSMC monitor cost, and for the quality that the image gives you or the brightness, whatever that is, it just wasn't worth the bang for your buck. And so for me, the Ninja is the best option to go with. So I've been wanting to find a shoulder rig solution for this camera that really didn't break the bank. A lot of what I was finding online was just, to be honest, out of my price range. And, you know, I wanted to build this camera on a budget, but within, great quality mindset, obviously. So I found this amazing deal on this Camvate. It's the shoulder rig handles. So it's only just the handles. It comes with the handles and also the rod attachment. And normally on Amazon, this is around, I want to say like 90 bucks. And I was able to find this used like new on Amazon for half price. So I snagged it instantly. And this is very cool. This is all steel. It feels very rugged. I love the grips here. It's rubber, and it just once you have that in your hands, it feels very, very, very snug. I love the fact that on the bottom of the handles, you have these additional quarter 20 mounts. So if I wanted to flip the rosette upwards and kind of hand hold the camera like this, I love the fact that I could easily mount a follow focus wheel from PD Film, which I do want to get soon, PD Movie, I'm sorry. Or I could mount like a light or a microphone, anything like that. So that's kind of cool. I love that functionality. Definitely check this out on Amazon if you are looking for a very inexpensive shoulder rig. So we're going to go ahead and add this to the front. I went ahead and also added the Camvate shoulder pad with this. This I did buy separate, but it was only like 29 bucks on Amazon. So, hey, you really can't beat that. And I had a gift card. So, and it is very, very comfortable. It has this padding on the front or on the bottom that is breathable. So that's really nice. But the top does have this steel plate running through it with your 15 millimeter rods attachment right here. So that is super cool. And what I love about this too is that this 15 millimeter rod attachment point is movable. So you can move it up here, up further up, or further back, or you can really fine tune and adjust this to be exactly where you need it the most. Now, I like to place my shoulder pad right beneath or as close to center of camera as possible, just so the weight distribution is very balanced when I have it over my shoulder, you know? So I really love the fact that I can just pop this on. It's super comfortable. I have my Manfrotto plate on the bottom here too. So I could quickly put this on a tripod if I need to. So this is so far feeling pretty solid. I love this a lot. Up next, we are going to go ahead and add a few extras that just kind of solidify the kit or the rig to just kind of go the extra mile. What I really wanted for this camera, really just kind of, again, solidify the aesthetic and just my needs for this, I went ahead and added a matte box. I went ahead online and I looked at Tilta, looked at Small Rig and other options too, and I eventually landed on Small Rig. Again, I think for the best bang for your buck, price versus quality, this seemed to offer just all around a good value. So we're going to go ahead and add this on, and this simply just clicks to the front of your lens. Now, again, you see here this doesn't quite fit, so you need different lens attachments that are included in the Small Rig Matte Box kit. So that is pretty cool. Let me go ahead and grab that right now. So I apologize, guys. My top camera went ahead and cut while I was filming, and I did not realize it. It's only an iPhone, so bear with me. But let me do a quick recap. So we see that I went ahead and added the V mount right here, as well as the Atomos Ninja 5 right here as well. And then we have the Camvate shoulder handles, and we also have the Camvate shoulder pad. So now we are going to go ahead and add the Small Rig matte box. And this, once you find the exact ring size for your lens, this matte box just simply snaps on, and then you screw it in place, and it's very easily to adjust. It's very easy to adjust, and that's it. So here we go. Give you a little side point of view. I am in love with this rig. It is just so awesome. The fact that it just feels robust, it feels like really good quality. I'm just so in love with it. Now, the only thing else that is optional, there's two more things that I would like to talk about. Um, I have the Red Bomb EVF as well. I did want to get an EVF for this camera just so I had that ability to just, if I am hand holding this, I can look through the eyepiece on a bright day and just have that assurance that I'm seeing the full picture with quality. So I'm gonna go ahead and add this on. And I'm using to mount this, I am using a Small Rig multi-articulating arm. This is like $9 or even probably less than that on Amazon. So definitely a great buy to have. So what I love about this is that my camera or my kit that I bought this camera with came with the wooden camera top mounting bracket, I guess, or top mounting plate, but it's got quarter 20s all over it. So it makes it super convenient to just mount anything that you need to, whether it's a microphone, a lens, I'm sorry, a microphone, an EVF, or a light. So that's super awesome. And again, here you have the Red Bomb EVF mounted to the Red Dragon. Now, obviously, I'm right-handed or right-sided, so for me, it would just be as simple as doing this. Boom. And what I love about this is that the with the Small Rig articulating arm, it makes it really easy to just make small fine-tuned readjustments on the EVF positioning wherever you might need it. But guys, otherwise, this is my build. I have crafted this build over the last, I want to say, 6 months or so. I bought this camera last August, and it has been so much fun trying to scour the web, find different pieces, different components that are no longer being made anymore, and trying to track certain things down and piece it all together to have, for me, the perfect cinema rig build. The only thing that I am looking forward to getting next would be some sort of LiDAR focus system. And right now, I am looking at DJI. I am looking at PD Movie. To be honest, I'm leaning more towards PD Movie just because, as you can tell with this build, I built this rig with budget friendly in mind. That was the forefront from the very beginning. How can I build the best cinema camera build on a budget, which does sound kind of like an oxymoron, but I have my core, the Red Epic Dragon. I was able to find amazing deals on my lenses for nearly half off what I was finding else online. And these lenses work fine, they're flawless. Being able to use gear that I already own, like my Atomos Ninja 5, and being able to just find really inexpensive options like the small rig matte box or the small rig top handle or this power extra V-mount battery that is a bit, it's third party, but it still functions and works great. Being able to find deals on just used gears, used gear, used parts, finding my shoulder rig for used like new, finding, my Ready VF on eBay used. When I first bought this camera, the kit came with the original red side handle, the one that has the battery door. And while that was very functional and very cool, it just was something that I wasn't really like excited about. And once I found out that the red switchblade existed, it really just got me thinking of how cool this switchblade looks, or how cool this side module looks. It makes the camera look a lot more modern. Remember, this is a 10-year-old camera, or this is a plus 10-year-old camera. So having the switchblade gives it a much more modern aesthetic. On top of that, it still gives me a lot of functionality to be able to control all my settings in camera, to control my ISO, my different white balance, my shutter speeds, all of that. And because the Atomos can't do that for me, that is very handy. So if you were going to ask me what my experience has been like buying this camera, piecing it together. I would say, or if you're thinking about buying this camera, what to expect. Well, two things. I would say if you can, try and go for a kit that's already being sold online, that has just a lot of accessories. In the long run, that's going to be a lot less headache for you, and that's going to give you a lot more time up front to just get shooting. For me, the kit that I bought, it had some options, but it wasn't perfect by any means. And so it took me a little bit to kind of get going, at an actual, with the full setup, because I had to find different pieces that matched my aesthetic or my needs as a filmmaker. So if you were going to buy one of these cameras, because they are very, 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 cost effective today versus when they came out, and they're very comparable spec wise to the cameras that are top of the line right now. This camera shoots 6K, it's near full frame, it's got really high dynamic range. So for the bang for your buck, this is a great camera to buy. But yeah, you have to know a few things before going into it. Number one, the fact that a lot of these pieces they don't make anymore, and so trying to find them online can be a challenge. But for me, it was a challenge that I was willing to take. It was kind of fun trying to piece and find things down and piece things together to kind of build the perfect kit. When you buy a pre-made kit online, the kit might not be in the best condition, which is why it's being sold as a kit, or certain pieces may be a little bit scratched, or the wear and tear isn't to your liking. So for me, being able to buy a kit or buy something that was near bare bones and build the kit around that, I could really find pieces that were in great condition to overall build a rig that looks really great, that looks really good, that looks great. So I'm very happy with this build, but know that when you do buy this camera, you may have to do some scavenger hunting, or you may have to do some investigating to find certain pieces. Um, but if you can get lucky and find a kit that has all the things you need, that is going to give you a much quicker time up front to get shooting. So just keep that in mind, guys. But this is an awesome journey to be on. And it really depends overall on what your needs are as a filmmaker. That's I think what it always boils down to is that, does this camera fit your needs? For me, filmmaking is a side hobby. I'm in medical, I'm a speech pathologist. And for me, this is a hobby for me. I used to work in film. I used to shoot music videos, commercials, short films, and I loved that world, but I also left that world for good reason. And so now whatever I do in film, it's for fun. I love to shoot short films. I love to work with local artists. I love to kind of, piece together passion projects and music videos. So for me, it wasn't a big deal buying a 10-year-old camera because I know what it can do. I know the fact that it shot Stranger Things. I know that it shot The Martian. I know that it shot Gone Girl and different other movies and television shows. So I know that this camera has what it takes to, provide a cinema Hollywood level look. You just got to be a great gaffer and a great cinematographer and a great director. And so for me, having this kit, I feel inspired. I feel reinvigorated, and I feel a lot of nostalgia too. So definitely, guys, know all of that before diving in, but knowing that if you do dive in, it is quite the adventure to be on, guys. In closing, this has been really cool, honestly, building this camera out and having this really cool experience of finding parts online, and assembling this thing. What's really cool about this is that I love that I can share my experience with you guys online, especially for those of you looking to potentially buy this camera as a B cam, an A cam, whatever your needs are. And I know that a lot of the video and content for this camera out on YouTube is well over 5 to 10 years old. So it's pretty cool trying to, give some 2025 perspective on this for you guys. So guys, honestly, it's been fun talking about this. I hope to share more content from this camera with you guys online soon. And guys, with that being said, I'll see you next time. And guys, that is it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, guys, and also leave me a comment down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts and feedback. And last but not least, guys, if you have not yet, please subscribe to the channel. It does help support it. And guys, that is it. I'll see you next time.